and welcome back. I'm Christine, and I am so excited to talk to you today about some more awesome things that you can do this summer to help your picky, selective, or ARFID eater. If you are new to my work, I have so many resources for you at foodologyfeeding.com. We have videos, blog posts, courses, books, free quizzes, free webinar, you name it, we probably have it. So head on over there if you haven't already. And if you're totally new to the picky eating world, go to pickyeaterstest.com. Eaters is with an S at the end. And right there, you can kind of gauge how serious the problem is and what kind of help and support you might need. So that's a great place to start. So let's just dive right in. Today, we're talking about positive food routines that you can start to implement this summer so that you start to shift and move that dial a little bit on your picky eater and get them more interested in food, talking about food, eating new foods, and just having, in general, more positive experiences around food. Okay. So, all right, we have our first one, which is just food prep. Meal prep. And I talk about meal prep exhaustively, it seems, but it is because it is so important and so key to building a good relationship between your child and food. Because if you want to know quick reason, it's just a very non-threatening thing. They're not expected to eat it. It's just interaction, and it's just helping their bodies to learn about that food in a very non-threatening way to them. And they are much more likely to taste that food if they have been involved in some sort of meal prep with it before. It might not be that day, that exact day. It might not happen that next moment, but you are always seeding, right? You're always planting those seeds, and those seeds will grow, right? So when you do the stuff like meal prep, at some point, they are going to engage further with that food. If they were afraid to touch it, at some point they are going to touch it because they've had a positive experience with it. If they are afraid to lick it, at some point they are going to get to that licking because they've had, time. They spent time with that food in a very non-threatening way, right? So meal prep is so key. And in summertime, usually, and not in every family, in every case, but a lot of times there's just a little bit more time, a little bit more bandwidth for parents to spend with their kids doing things like meal prep that maybe during the school year is just one thing too many, right? So this is a great time to get your kids practicing helping you in the kitchen, even if it's just a very minor thing, right? I have a whole chapter about this in my book, Mealtime Mindset. And I actually just came out with a nutrient dense cookbook that has lots of picky eater favorites, like mac and cheese and, chicken nuggets, but a more nutrient dense version of them that they can maybe help you make. So, that's available on Amazon and my website. But, just getting back to the meal prep, right? You might have a garden in the summer. If you don't, it's cool. You don't need one. But I'm just saying, if you have a garden, that's a great way, oh, can you help me just pick some of the things from the garden so I can put it into this sauce? Not that they're going to eat this sauce, but can you help me do it? Right? Just getting them involved. It's a great time of year to do like themed nights, which I feel like during the school year when things are very hectic, it's like, oh my God, I cannot do one more thing. But in the summertime, there might be a little bit more free time for fun things like that. So it might be Taco Tuesday or Italian night or pizza night or whatever it is, that you can sort of create a little bit more involvement from your kids. They can help you pick recipes or pick even just some table decor for the event. Getting them involved in any way is helpful. Okay. Let's go on to number 2, which is reading labels. And this one is probably more for you than your kids. Depending on their age, you can definitely get them involved. But reading labels is something really everyone should be doing all of the time. And I am actually going to be creating a small mini course about how to read labels and what to look for, what's good, what's not good. So I'm working on that, and it's probably going to be incorporated into the new course I just made, the Picky Eaters Plate. So if you've purchased that already, you'll get that upgrade free, just as part of that program. So that's really cool. But reading labels is so important just as a life skill in general for every person on the planet. Reading labels is really important because it's super, you might think of something is on the shelf and that means that it is automatically safe, that the FDA has approved it. And I am here to tell you that that is absolutely not true. So just because it is on the shelf at a grocery store does not mean that that food is safe to eat. In fact, some of it is not even actual food. Some of them are food products, but there's not actual what you would think of as food that's created them. Like they're mostly man-made or chemical made, or have contain more chemicals than actual food or ingredients, right? So easy to make mistakes there with marketing and packaging. Might look all natural, it might look no preservatives or whatever, but when you look at the label, if you know how to read a label, you'll know that if they're lying to you on the front of the box, right? The back of the box, they really can't lie about. There's some sneaky ways that they hide things in labels, which I will teach in that. It's just too much to go into today. I have like 10 things I'm going to tell you today, but I just want to really stress how important it is to read labels. So if you have some more free time in the summer, this is a great time to start this awesome habit of just take whatever you pick up from the shelf, look at the back of it. Even if you buy it online, there's almost always, if you scroll through the photos, a photo of the nutrition label on the back that gives you all the ingredients and the contents of that food. Okay. Number 3, let's move along to number 3 because I get super passionate about nutrition labels. I nerd out about it. I'm sorry. Number 3, farmers market visits. Now, you might not live near a farmers market, but if you do, this is a great way to just bringing your kids to the farmers market. And even if you buy nothing, just walking around, talking about the foods, maybe even being able to talk to someone that works there that can explain something about working on a farm. I am on Long Island, and there's a lot of awesome local organic farms even that very welcoming to kids and families, and love to educate about what they do and how they do it. And sometimes they'll even tour you. So please look into that this summer if you haven't already. It's an awesome thing that you can do this summer with your kids, especially if they're picky eaters. And you can use you can do a scavenger hunt, but I think talking to the farmers is always awesome. I think that's kind of cool. Okay, number 4, I mentioned this in last week's episode, but having some ready to go, like almost like a healthy snack station kind of set up. So this might involve a little bit of prep on your side or a little bit of planning to have some healthy snacks and things ahead of time. But this is great for summer, and it's a good idea to get into the habit of just having healthy, ready to go snacks. If you're jumping in the car, if you're going to soccer, if you're running here, going there, just grab some of the healthy snacks from your healthy snack tray. And at least you've got, something good to sustain your energy, ready to go. Okay. All right. Number 5, weekly meal planning, which is not my favorite thing to do. And I talk about that in the book a little bit, but I do want to, I don't know, maybe you know this already, but there's so many people, even on, I feel like Etsy, on Instagram, that have like pre-made meal prep things for the week. I find that is super hard for parents of picky eaters because a lot of times your kids aren't going to eat a lot of things on that list, right? So you're just going to get it and you're just going to get frustrated, if I'm being honest. but it is something that you can look into. It's really going to vary based on what your kid can and will eat, right? But making your own meal prep does not have to be super hard. I know we talk about it in my course a little bit about like how to meal prep, and in the book Mealtime Mindset about like how to make that a little bit easier. But just taking like, a little bit of time, like take like an hour, and you might be able to do like a whole month's worth of meal prep. Just, okay, we're going to have this and we're going to do it 3 times this month, and you just put it on the calendar, and you can bang it out faster than you'd think. It might not even take a full hour. I don't want to stress you out with the whole hour thing, but doing that one step can take a lot of stress off, and it's a really good routine to get into. It's something that will really help you come when the school year comes, and you have even less time. So now's a great time to sort of plan ahead even a little bit, and get that rolling. Okay. Number 6, exploring different cultures. It's fun to do like themed nights, right? There's even some cool box types things where you can, like a subscription box where you can order food, and they'll send you like a different country every month or every week or something, and you could try foods from that country, which I think is so awesome. I think that's an awesome idea for learning and for learning about foods. So there's a lot you can get out of stuff like that. And the summertime, I think, is a great time to do stuff like that. Learning about different cultures, especially if you're traveling and you're going to some places that might be a little bit different. It's just awesome. I love that. Cooking with history, talking about historical things leading to cooking, from different parts of the world. And on my list on the blog, there's a list, or like a reading list of all books that have to do with foods. And Chef Arlena Strode, who I've interviewed before from Children's Culinary Institute, actually created some awesome like historical type books, but for kids, about like how like this like it's like a food history type of thing, but made for kids, and it's educational and it's fun and it's an interesting story. So check that out if you haven't. Okay, cooking challenges is number 7. If you and your kids have never watched Chopped Junior, that's definitely something you should do. And your kids might be very motivated to play a game, kind of like they do on Chopped Junior, where there's maybe like a mystery box, and you have to take those ingredients and come up with something using them. So that's really fun. And watching the shows first can get kids excited and motivated to do that, versus if you just like present it as your own idea. Sometimes kids are going to be like, no, I don't want to do that. But if they saw all of these other kids their age cooking on TV, doing this mystery box challenge, they are going to be way more likely to engage and get excited about this activity. So this is something you can definitely try over summer. All right, number 8, mindful eating practices. This is just about slowing it down for a minute. Some people have this routine where they might do a prayer before their meal, which is great. That's like a mindful, positive eating practice. Absolutely. You don't even have to do a prayer. You could just be grateful, or you can just, everybody, almost like Thanksgiving, where everybody says something that they're grateful for, or everybody says something positive that happened or funny that happened to them that day. That's a great mealtime routine to start this summer with your kids. Also, with mindful eating practices, thinking about decreasing the use of distractions like iPads or toys at the table. Now, you might not eliminate it completely, and this might be, a stretch goal for you. But summer is a good time to do that, because especially if you're going to eat outside or you're traveling a lot, there might be just sort of a lot of things to look at. Whereas when you're in the house and there just isn't, and again, those cues they're outside of their routine. Now might be a good time to kind of get that started. And if you can get it started, you might be able to get it to continue into the house and into the different seasons that follow summer. So trying to decrease some of that distraction at the mealtime table is great to start in the summer when they're more relaxed and there's just less going on, less stress, less pressure. All right, almost there. Number 9, food education. So this is just, we've been doing this on our Instagram page, but nutrient of the week, talking about the different foods. What's so special about foods that have different colors? What does this food do for your body and how does it help you? Like, think like Popeye, right? He's well known for chugging a can of spinach and it makes him strong, right? So explaining and starting to have those types of conversations with kids about what food actually does to your body. Like, why do we eat food? There is a reason, and each food kind of is a different character and plays a different role in your body and how your body works. So starting to have those conversations regularly with kids can be a great learning experience, as well as actually getting them more interested in food. We want them talking about food. We want them listening to stories about food. We want to attack it kind of from all angles. And food education is a really important component, I think, of feeding therapy in general. So it's something easy parents can implement at home. So instead of, just whatever story time, what about story time with a book that is talking about food? And I have a whole, like I said, I have a whole list of for all ages on my website, foodologyfeeding.com. And if you go into our blog posts, you will see it there. It's awesome. There's I don't know, like at least 50 to 75 different books with links. A lot of them have links to Amazon, so you can even see what they look like. And I bet you even have some of them at your house already. Number 10, last one. Summer, it's hot usually, right? So hydration is really a great practice to get into to make hydration a priority. So you can do things like infusing water. They have cool bottles where it kind of does that for you. You put the fruit in the middle and it infuses the water around it. You could have kids come up with their own flavors. Or, even if that's not something you think your kids are going to be into, just tracking how much water they're drinking throughout the day. So if they have a water bottle, sometimes it has those markings on the side, which is kind of like not that you have to race and be but maybe let's see at the end of the day, who drank the most water. And, just sort of being a little bit more cognizant of it, making it a little bit more of a priority or something that you're focused on, because having a hydrated body is very important and it's super easy to get dehydrated in the summer for kids. And it really does affect how your whole body works, their behavior, their mood. Okay, so important stuff, right? Okay, so those are all 10, lots of things, but I felt like I couldn't really even eliminate because they really all were so awesome. And I'm not saying you should implement all 10 of them, but even if you just picked one to work on this summer, I think you're going to see positive results no matter what. I think doing all 10 would be a lot. Right? If this was your only focus, if you had literally nothing going on, maybe do all 10. But I wouldn't recommend necessarily even doing that. But there's definitely, I think, do the ones that resonate with you, the ones that stand out. If you're like, oh, you know what, that's really easy, or oh, that sounds like fun. Those are the ones I want you to focus on and do. Don't worry about the rest of them, at least not yet, right? So just to recap, we've got an inner food prep, meal prep, reading labels, farmers market visits, healthy snack station, weekly meal planning, cultural exploration, cooking challenges, mindful eating, food education, and hydration habits. So If you have any questions about that, definitely send us a DM and I'd be happy to answer. But I'm really excited about that. I hope you guys tell me which ones. I'd love to hear which ones you plan on doing this summer. Because I know that, even if it's just where you're just going to incorporate some of those stories into your story time, I know you're going to see some positive results with that. So I'm super excited for you, and I hope you guys are having a great summer so far. I hope it's off to a great start, and I will see you next week.
Thank you for listening to How to Unpicky Your Picky Eater. To learn more about achieving your child's feeding goals, check out Christine's website at foodologyfeeding.com. And be sure to tune in next time to How to Unpicky Your Picky Eater.